Hello, beautiful people. My name is Trudy. Welcome to Life is Beautiful. And today I am going to talk about something that I get pushback on so much in therapy sessions. And it's not a bad thing. I have to explain this. So I thought I would help all of you in the interwebs to understand it too. So if you're ever presented with this situation, you can kind of understand it better. Okay? Okay. It'll all make sense when I get to chatting. So, welcome to another unedited, unfiltered video. This is me. I'm Trudy. I'm not a big makeup fan anymore. T-shirt and jeans kind of gal. Just doing the best I can to help people out. Okay? So, I'm going to talk about journaling today. I know there's probably some people in there that are like, oh my God, another journaling video. Okay, fine. You can click off. That's fine. If you are not interested, no big deal. I'm not going to be offended. Go do what you got to do. However, this is for people who have been encouraged to journal as part of their mental health journey. Okay? I say that because journaling your everyday life is great. However, mental health journaling is a little different. A lot of people in mental health have been advised to journal. And it is a great practice. I can tell you from experience, it is a great practice. However, the problem comes when we don't get it explained to us in a way that is understandable and how it works. Okay? So, journaling for mental health is a specific way to journal. There's no right or wrong, but it is very specific in the reason for it, in the intent for it. So, first of all, I know there's a lot of people, not first of all, I've said that 3 times, I'm sure. Anyway, I know that there are people out there that they are dedicated to digital journaling, and if that is you, great. I wish you all the luck. However, hear me out, because this may be something you didn't realize. Okay, so with tactile journaling, sorry, I'm not going to edit it out, because no. Anyway, with long form handwritten journaling, it's different than digitally journaling, because when we're typing out our journal entries or our notes or whatever, we are privy to things like spell check and autocorrect. Some people, like me, use things like Grammarly, and they're great. They're great tools. However, when we use those tools, we remove some of the cognitive engagement in the writing process. That means that we don't have to think as hard about how things are coming together or how words are spelled. We don't have to think about how each letter is formed into each word, into each paragraph. So that takes out, especially if you use things like Grammarly, those are great tools. If you're writing a novel, if you're writing a research paper, if you are sending emails to your boss, you can find better ways to word things, and that's always great because you want to come off as professional maybe, or you want to come off as more casual. It makes sense. However, in the journaling realm, what we're looking for is raw information. Okay? So, when we're engaging tactily, I know there's a shadow over my face and I don't care. Anyway, bothers you, sorry. But when we engage tactily, we are engaging more cognitively with more parts of our brain. When we write out things, we're engaging with more parts of our brain. Stay with me. When we engage cognitively, we are thinking about what we're trying to say, how we're going to word it, how the subject-verb agreement is. Depending on how far you nerd out, you may want to make sure you spell the word correctly. You're engaged more. Then you are engaged, and I keep saying tactily because I'm moving my hand. We're engaged tactily. which means we have to form each of the letters that form each word, that form each paragraph, that form each page. This takes cognitive ability as well. This takes another part of our brain. Now, noted, I am not an expert in in neuro functioning. However, I'm a nerd and I like to research things and I like to study things, and it's kind of my thing. So anyway, so we engage tactily. We're engaging fully visually. A lot of times with digital stuff, digital journaling, we are not looking at the screen. We're typing it out, whether it's on our phone, on our tablet, on our computer. We're not fully engaging visually either, so we're engaged more there. We are, if you're like me, then you are also going to be engaged auditorily and verbally. Why, you say? Because I'm a person that I like to read back what I've read, and usually out loud, maybe in a soft whisper if, I don't want anybody else to hear it, but I will read it back to see how it flows and see what really is there. So then you're engaging in other senses. So all total, we've got 5 senses that we're sitting with. This is good because this causes more parts of our brain to fire off, which helps us to process things. A lot of times when we're stressed, we're in that fight, flight, freeze, and we're not engaging cognitively. We are in the survival mode of, the survival brain. And to help move you out of that, it is helpful to engage in more cognitive behaviors. I know I've said cognitive like 843 times, and that's fine. Anyway, but when we engage more with more of our senses, we actually help to reduce the stress through logic of that survival brain, of the gator brain. And this allows us to make more realistic decisions. Okay? The purpose of mental health journaling is not to record your day. The main purpose of journaling is to help us, you and your therapist, identify patterns of behavior and patterns of thought to help to correct them and help to find ways to alleviate them, or at least mitigate these negative thought processes, negative behavior patterns. So this is where it comes in very handy. I tell people I have assigned thousands of journals in the last 20 years. Okay, I've been working in mental health for 20 years, and I have assigned thousands of journals, and I have never once requested to read a journal. However, I've read thousands of journal entries because, my clients may notice something and they'll want me to read it and see if I notice the same thing, or they may just want to share because they don't necessarily want to discuss it again and they want to bring me up to speed on something. So I read every journal entry a client sends me, because if you trust me enough to read it, I must be respectful enough to do that. It's a huge compliment to me, in my opinion. But going into that, it is important that we engage in this behavior with a little more intent. Okay? And now, I use the example, I've used this with my clients, so I don't care about sharing it here because I've shared it hundreds of times. But I have had 3 aneurysm repairs. And yeah, that's a horrible thing. That's all whatever. I'm fine. Okay? I'm dealing with my life just fine. But I have to get checks every 3-ish years. I just recently had another one at the first part of the year, so I'm good. And I have to get checks to make sure that there are no new aneurysms forming. Okay? And this is frustrating, okay? So, back in 2020, it was around November, December-ish, 2020, while the world shut down, and I received a call from my doctor to remind me I need to get this check done, because it had been 3 years since my last repair. And so I immediately went into panic mode. Didn't sleep for like 2 weeks. I think I slept a total of like 10 and a half hours in 2 weeks. I wish I was exaggerating, but that's about how much I slept. And I just absolutely got frustrated with it, because I tried and tried and tried. Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. Different techniques, different methods. And finally, I take my own advice. I know what to do, so I do it. And I got up one night and I grabbed a notebook and just started writing. And I wrote about 5 pages of just stream of conscious writing. This is where you write every thought as it comes in your brain. This is good because it kind of helps slow down your thinking, because you have to have time to process that thought. In writing, it's a really good practice. If you haven't tried it, it's fun. You can learn a lot about yourself from stream of conscious writing. So I do this stream of conscious writing, and I go back and I read through it, and I was like, wow, I have catastrophized a lot. I am catastrophizing this. And what that means is I am making a catastrophe out of a situation that may or may not happen. So, basically, my kids were in their, in their late 20s, early 30s. No, late 20s. My kids are in their 30s now. It's, 4 years. Okay. Anyway, my kids were in their late 20s, and for some reason, I had this idea that they were just going to become just these feral beasts and burn down the world, because, if they found another aneurysm, I may die, because that's what the doctor told me, that I'm high risk now, and no. And if I die, then my kids are going to just absolutely go feral. They're going to lose their whole ass mind. They're going to set fire to the world. They're going to do all this shit. And my husband's going to become a recluse and live in a cave somewhere because he doesn't know how to go on, and all my worry was about the other people in my life. What do I care? I'm dead, okay? And that's kind of the thing. So, I've made peace with my potential death. I've had to plan my funeral. It's okay. Not to be grim, just that's my reality. And so when I read back the part where my kids are just absolutely feral, running amok, doing all kinds of wacky stuff, I was like, okay, my kids are intelligent. They've dealt with a lot of grief. They know how this works. They are not going to set fire to the world because I died. That is a little arrogant to think. But in that stream of conscious writing, that was my fear. I was also afraid that my husband was going to turn into some kind of reclusive hermit. That's not how that's going to work. He's going to grieve. It's going to be a thing. So, he's going to grieve, but I don't think he's going to just turn off the world and just live in a hole somewhere. And I realized how absurd I was being, because in 5 pages, I had myself dead, had my kids burning down the world, and had my husband living as a hermit. And then I realized, oh shit, all I have to do is make a phone call. So that's all I had to do. I had to make a phone call and schedule an appointment. But I was gone. I let that survival brain kick in so hard, and I catastrophized so much. But I tell you what, that was the best sleep I'd gotten in weeks. It was so wonderful. The sleep was lovely. So, journaling can be a very helpful thing because it can help you and your counselor, your therapist, your coach, or whoever to understand thought processes, negative thought processes, negative actions and behaviors that kind of lead to the distress that led you into therapy. Nobody just wakes up on Tuesday and says, oh, you know what? I haven't been to therapy lately. I think I'll go. It's not how it works. There's always something that's bothering us. I have yet to meet the person that just wants to be in therapy because they want to be in therapy. But maybe I just haven't met them yet. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to share with you today. I know it's kind of chatty and it's very unpolished and it's very unedited, but I don't want to do all that. That's too much. I like unfiltered. I like unedited. So I like unpolished too. So anyway, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave them. Do not be rude for the sake of rude. Just going to let you know now, if you're rude for the sake of rude, I'll just block you. I don't care. Because we don't need that energy. This is a place for helping you to improve, not an outlet for you to be a jerk. Okay? So, don't be a jerk. Anyway, with that, I say much love to you. Much love. And have a beautiful, beautiful freaking day.